What's up, guys? Now here's my video. I'm going to show you guys how to make a sword on Roblox Studio. I haven't really been I haven't really been making long form videos in a long time, but like my last one was probably a couple years, like a year ago. But now I've been learning how to script in Roblox Studio, and I wanted to show some people how to make a sword. So I have a setup right here. First of all, what you want to use is you're going to make a tool. If you know how to make a tool with like a handle and roll constraints, then you can just skip to the animation part. But if you don't, then I'm gonna teach you how. So this is the model I already made. And for a tool, you always have to have these components. First of all, you have to have an handle. It could be looking like whatever you want, but you just have to have a handle. And the handle has to be named handle with a capital H. If it's not named handle, then the whole thing will not work. Then you have these parts. You can model the sword however you want, but when you have these parts, you go to your handle and you press over to the model tab. All these settings, you would choose weld. And whenever you press that, what that does is like you can weld the handle to a specific part. So you can make them stick together without them being anchored. So you have to press weld, which I have already done, but I could do it again. And then you see this tool? You press the parts that you want. So you have to weld the handle to every single part. This part, and then you weld it to this part, and then you weld it to this part. So once you have everything welded and all the parts together, you add a tool object to Roblox Studio. I already added a tool, but this is what the tool looks like. Just press plus and search up tool, and you have this. I'm going to delete this because I already have my tool. What you do is you put all your parts that you have, and put these parts that for the sword model that you made, you put them under your tool, so that the tool is the parent of all your parts. So once you have that, play test the game and see how it works. Okay, so see this? There's no part because I made it the transparency to be 1, which means it's invisible. Looks like it's invisible, but not really. It is, but people can't see it, so it's supposed to be invisible. So basically, you can see this. You're holding the part, you can move it. You could change the tool grip by using this thing called a tool grip editor, one that has the tool sign. But don't use the ones that cost money, because that makes no sense and that's just like not smart, because there's some for free. So you see here, this is what the dummy looks like. This is what your player looks like when you're holding the tool. If you want it to be different, I want it to be straight up. So I can use this blue thing, which is the rotation part. I can change it up here. So the person's holding up the tool just like that. And it looks kind of like a french fry box, but the person's holding the tool just like that. And then now, what it does is it changes the grip inside of your handle, or inside of your tool actually. So then, whenever you go to the tool, it holds it just like this, which is perfect, which is what I want, or whatever, or what you want. So now you have a working sword, but the only thing is that it doesn't do damage, and it doesn't have any animations. Whenever you play the game, you can go in and you can start going to the sword and try to click it. Nothing happens. There's no walk animations, no jump animations. There's nothing yet. Alright guys, I accidentally pressed the stop button on my recording, but what I was saying is I was just saying that there's no animations, no jump animations, no walk animations, no animations. But if you want animations, which I'm pretty sure everyone wants animations, then here's how to do it. So yeah, I mistake that red button with the stop button. But you go to a rig. I can make one, a new one. Press character, and choose whatever rig type you want. Honestly, I really prefer R6 because R6 is easier to animate, so less body parts, and the less limbs, the better. A wise man once said. But clip editor, and you press this. So press the clip editor, and you make your animation. you go to this plus button and press add all body. So that means you can animate the rig however you want now. So like you can do a bunch of random stuff. Like bro, he's doing backflips. You can like animate stuff. If you know how to use the animate trap, just use the animation trap. But right here, I'm gonna make in like a simple animation. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go here, and I'm gonna make like a sword swinging. So I'm gonna bring his hand up. So like you're holding the sword, and then like rotate your hand. So like this, like it looks like you're holding the sword like this with your hand. Kind of looks like a punch. Holding the sword, yeah, this is better. So then you do start. So bro, I keep doing that. Then what you do is this. I'm gonna make this animation where like you're bent down, and then you have to move, and then up like this, and then basically your hands out like that. And what you do is you swing, make a separate one. You swing your sword like this. Alright, so let's see how the animation works out. Okay, now that looks weird. That's way too fast. We're gonna make it a little bit slower. Cool. Okay. So start like this. No, actually, I am gonna do this where throw this guy's arm. Okay, so basically just starting position. Okay, here we go. So basically, you're gonna have the animation where you pull out your arm, or like this. So I have a separate animation for that over more still. Okay, so now you use this, open up the arm, so you turn like this, and then move this one closer. 8, 4. Okay, looks more like a punch animation. Cool. How about the players like this? Okay. Okay. I think this is good. I think this is good. Like this. Not actually. Looks more like a swing, and it's simple. And I'm gonna do this. Well, so now, whenever you finish your animation, you have to make sure you go over here to these 3 buttons and you set animation priority to be action. Since you're doing a sword swinging animation, it has to be action, because what action does, it just makes it so whenever you're like holding the animation, it like replaces the holding animation with just like the animation that you play, or so like this. It wouldn't so the thing is that if it wasn't set to action, if it was like separate animation, like core or something, the holding animation where you're holding it in your hand. Okay. The only thing is that it will play the animation, but only play the animation to the body parts that aren't holding it in, that aren't holding it in. So that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do right now. And then to make sure the animation move this one closer. Once that, you can change the animation however. Like system settings, you can go to 8, 4. For example, can go the and then you can just more like easing style.
or even directions, stuff like that. Concept, the player, it would look basically like glitchy. Okay, like really glitchy.
I think this is good. I
That's
think
what
this is
concept
good.
looks like. Give it V2.
Looks more like
I
a
don't know
slang,
really what to say
and
this
it's
one.
simple.
And it's fine, perfect for this video.
So
And
now, whenever you finish your
which
animation,
is like the most common one,
you have to make sure you
then
go
use
over
it because
here
it's like
to
just
these
like
three
a regular
buttons and
animation.
you set animation
But to
priority
make sure
to
you
be
do it
action.
now, is
Since you're doing a
published to
sword
Roblox.
swinging animation, it has to be
And
action.
you can name the
Because
clip
what
whatever
action
you want.
does,
I'm gonna say
it just makes it so that
sword
whenever you're
swinging,
whenever you're like holding the animation, it
animation,
replaces the holding animation
like with just
1000.
like the animation that you play. So it wouldn't just. So the thing is that
you
if
press
it wasn't set to action, if it was like set to
now.
core or
What you have to
something,
do is you
the
have to go to
holding
tool
animation where you're
and you
holding
have
it
to
in your
go to a
hand.
local script.
The only thing is that it
Click
will
local
play the
script.
animation, but
Now,
only play
this
the animation
is the script what
parts
you're going to
that
do.
aren't holding the hand.
And you can just have a folder, like a folder, and then you could just like and have an int value, or literally whatever you want, and just set the value to be your Roblox ID. So you just have it in a folder, or you could just paste the name, just make the name your Roblox ID. So
and
you
then
could just make it that
easing style.
you can like
Or
delete
even
the value, but
stuff like that.
for the local script,
Concept,
here's what
would
we are
look
going to do.
basically like glitchy.
Okay, so first,
Glitchy, like really glitchy.
local
That's what concept
sword
looks like.
equals
I
game
don't know really what to
dot
say.
workspace dot sword.
I have this
No,
so
not game dot workspace. We could just do script dot
If
parent.
you want to use
Parent.
linear, which is like
And
the most common
also,
one,
you can add,
then use
instead
it
of
because
just
it's
doing
like
it like
just
this,
like a
like the
regular
folder,
animation.
you can instead
But to make
add
sure
an
you do it
animation
now,
to the local script
it's published to Roblox.
and change the animation ID to
And
be
you can name the clip
this.
whatever you want.
I'm gonna
Your
say
animation ID.
so does it have to, you don't have to like
Swinging,
say like animation dot animation ID
like
equals
1000.
like Roblox SID, the whatever
Okay,
your animation
so
ID is. You
then
can use my
you
animation
press
ID
copy.
right here. You can just copy on the screen.
Now,
Shows it right here on
what
the
you have to
folder.
do
Is you have to go to tool.
I'll put it in the
And you have to
description,
go to a local script.
and you can just
Click
copy
local
that.
script.
Now,
So
this is the
then
script
you
that
have
you're going to do.
local, and you can just
Local
have
ones,
a local, yes, local
like a
animation
folder,
equals
and then you could
script
just
dot
like have an
animation.
int value,
This is just
or
referencing
literally
the
whatever
animation
you
inside
want,
of the script
set the value to be
your
local
Roblox ID. So you just have it in a folder track,
or you could just
equals
paste the name,
just
animation,
make the name.
your Roblox ID.
Oh no,
So
sorry.
you could just make it that
Equals
ID. You can like
humanoid
delete the value,
colon for the local script.
load. Here's what we are going
Animation.
to do.
Animation.
So first,
So we could just put this at the bottom.
local
Just have
sword
this
equals
and then local
game
player dot workspace dot sword.
equals
No,
game
not
dot
game dot workspace. We could just do
players
script
local
dot parent.
player.
This
Parent.
references the local player.
And also,
you
you
can
can
add
add
script. Instead of just
let's
doing
say
it like
human,
this,
not
like the
common.
folder,
It looks
you can
kinda
instead
weird,
add
probably to
animation to
new
the local
people.
script
Local
and change the animation
character
ID to be
character
your animation
equals
ID. So does it have to? You don't have to like say like
and
animation dot animation
humanoid
ID equals like
character
Roblox SID.
fine for
Whatever
style
your animation ID is.
human.
You can use my animation ID right here. You can just copy
So
on the
that
screen.
means this
Shows it right here on the
this
folder.
is fine.
I'll put it in
So,
the description. Now we're gonna have
And if you can
not
just
a
copy
function. We're gonna have an event. Then
So
you have
local
sword dot activated, which means whenever the sword is clicked,
local animation
connect equals
function
script dot animation.
you don't
This is just
I spelled
referencing the
function
animation
wrong.
inside of the script.
Function
You don't need to have any
local
parameters. There's no parameters for
animation
this type
track
of event.
equals
So
animation
then you have animation track
equals
humanoid
play
colon load animation track colon play. So what this
animation
does, that whenever you click
animation.
the animation
So we
track
could just
plays.
put this
at the bottom.
So
Just having this, and also
and
just
then
thing I need to make
local
sure
player
if your animation is looped,
equals
then that's not good. If your animation is
players
looped, you have to get
local
back to your
player.
animation.
This
You have
references
to
the
turn
local player
looping to be
since this
off,
is in a local script.
and then you have to publish
Let's
your
say
animation
humanoid.
again, not common.
So
It looks kind of weird.
that's basically
for the sword swinging.
local
Character
equals
the
player
dot character
we pick it up
and
this
local
and
humanoid equals
oh, wait, it's not
character colon fine for style
you guys know why it's not working?
humanoid.
It's because
So that means this
R6
looks. This is fine.
This guy
So
is an R15.
now we're gonna have
So,
a not
to
a
do
function. We're gonna
you
have
have
an
to
event.
go to avatar,
So
go to avatar
sword
settings,
dot activated, which
bring
means
this
whenever
over,
the sword is clicked,
press save to Roblox,
connect,
and just
function.
call it whatever you want.
Just call
You
it.
have
You don't. Oh, sorry.
whatever you
I spelled
save to
function
Roblox.
wrong.
If you're making a game and you want to make a
Function.
sword for a game, you don't need to have any parameters. And your game's already saved and published.
This type of.
Then it's fine.
This type
So
of.
just save to
Event.
Roblox. So
And then you have
experience successfully saved.
animation track.
So it goes back
Colon.
and it comes back. So now
Animation track.
wait for it to load.
So what this does, that whenever you click,
Okay, here we go.
the animation
So now
track
you press. You go here.
So,
if you see this window,
and also just thing I need to make sure, if your animation is looped, then that's not good.
And
if your animation's looped, you have to go back to your animation.
R6 only.
You have to turn
and
looping
R15
to be
and
off,
R6.
and then you have to publish your animation.
Which means if your
So,
avatar in your game is an R6
animation.
then you could just choose. If it's in R6, then you could just choose so that either you want R6 or R15. But R6 only is gonna be what we're using. Oh wait,
So I'm just gonna use R6 only because I actually don't remember if my account is R6. Because most of the games I play are like they're just R6. They're just R15. So I don't know if my account's R6. So
to do that,
basically now you change it to R6. You can play the game and you can test your animation. I'm gonna bring this over, press save to Roblox, and just call it whatever you want.
Okay, now you see that you are your
save
R6
to Roblox. If you're making a game and you want to make a sword for a game,
and
your game's already saved
animation
and published, then it's fine. So just save
the
the
sword
Roblox.
animation works,
And
but guess
then
what? The sword doesn't even do damage.
Successfully saved. So it goes back
doesn't
here.
even do damage.
And it comes back. So now you just wait for
So,
it to load. To make it do damage, you're gonna add another script.
Here we go.
Before we do
now
that
you press,
script,
you go
I
here.
am just
you
going
see
to make this window
smaller,
fine.
because I want it to be just a little bit smaller.
You press this.
Yeah, that's fine.
To be more like a sword because it's just like
only,
just a big
R6
block.
only, and R15
And in case
R6.
your sword is like
Which
natural
means you
long
can,
or supposed to be
if
long
your
for your
avatar
game that you're making,
in your
like
game
a dungeon
is
game
an
or something,
R6,
yeah, you can
then
go
you could
to all
just
the
choose.
the actual parts.
If it's in R6, then you could just choose
window
so that you can see
either you want R6 or R15.
Press cancel.
But R6 only
turn that off.
is
Which
gonna
means
be what we're using.
it can't. That which means the
So I'm just gonna
actual
use
core
R6 only
parts
because
of
I
the sword
actually don't
can't touch
remember
anything.
if my
For the handle,
if my account is R6.
Just you can leave the handle.
all the
You can leave the
games I
handle
play
if you want.
are like they're just R6.
They're just
And
R15.
just leave the handle alone.
Yeah.
I don't know if my account's R6.
Now,
So
it looks
basically
like
now you change it
there's
to
just that.
R6. You
can
can
pick
play
it
the
up.
game and you can test
And
your animation.
Just pick it up and the animation play just fine. Animation plays.
Okay, now you see that you are your
probably
R6
want
player.
damage.
So
This up.
to make damage,
And
all
you
you
see
have
the
to do
animation
is you have to go
works.
to your tool
Animation
and you have to add a server script.
So the sword animation works.
Now this
but
server
guess what?
script is gonna be a
The
little
sword
bit
doesn't
hard.
even do
but it's gonna
damage.
be fun.
Sword doesn't even
And
do
also,
damage.
one thing I almost forgot, we have to add a remote event to
So,
replicate
to
storage.
make it do damage, you're gonna add
What a
another
remote
script.
event is all it
Before you
does
do that
is it's
script,
able to talk
I
to the
am just
server
going to make this
and the
a little
client,
bit
or the
smaller,
client and the
because
server.
I want it to be
Which
just a little
means
bit small.
a local script.
Yeah, that's fine.
A local
Be
script
more
like a sword because
only
it's
you
just
can
like
see this.
just a big block.
The server can't see this.
And in case
only you
your
can see
sword is
because
like
you are the
natural
client,
or
and it's a
supposed to
local
be
script
for
for
your
the
game
for
that
the
you're
client.
making, like a dungeon game or
So,
something.
all you have to do,
Yeah, you
is
can go
just
to all the like
reference
the
your
actual parts.
You can go back to your
You
local
can
script
go to
and
the drop down
reference
window
the remote
and
event.
you can see
to
I'm
properties.
gonna call the remote
Press
event
cancel I. Turn that off.
sword swing,
Which means sword
it can't
swing.
that which means the actual core
So,
parts of the sword can't touch
local
anything.
remote
For the
event
handle,
equals
just you can leave the handle alone.
game
You can leave the handle
colon
alone. If you
get
get service,
So
it's getting the
and just
service
leave the handle alone
replicated storage.
now
Replicated storage.
it looks
And at
like
the end of
there's just
the
that.
at the end of
Just
the
pick it up.
parentheses, you have
And
colon
you can just pick it up.
find for
and,
child sword
the
swing.
animation play.
And you
fine.
can check this.
Animation
delete
plays
this
is
again.
fine.
But check this.
You see that
Probably want
the
damage.
sword swing
So
that shows
to make
that it's a
damage,
remote event.
what we have to do
Just to make
is
sure
you have to go
it's
to
a
your
remote event.
tool and you have to add
Then
a
whenever
whenever this happens, this server
remote
script is gonna be a
event,
little bit hard. Colon fire server, and also one thing
So
I
what this
forgot
does is it
you have
fires
to
the
add a
server
remote event
of the
to
game.
replicated storage.
Fires the game server.
What a
And
remote event
the
is
animation
all it
track
does
plays
is
and
it's
fires the
able to
server.
talk
So,
to the server
when you go to your script
and the client, or the client and the server.
you have to reference your
Which
remote
means
event.
a local script
Local remote a local script. Only you can see this.
Equals
The
game
server can't see this.
service.
Only
Paid
you can see
storage,
this because
which
you are the
is
client.
this thing that
This
your
a local
event
script,
should
which
be
means
under
it's for the
and
client.
to make sure it's under replicated storage.
So
all
all you have to
for
do
child
is just
storage
reference your. You can go back to your local script
and
and then
reference
the
you
remote
have
event. I'm gonna
this.
call the remote
There's
event.
one thing about this.
You can't
Sword
reference
swing.
the tool. You
Sword
can reference
swing.
the tool, but what you're
So,
supposed to do is that you want to
local
reference.
remote
You have to
event
want to make sure that you
equals
reference the actual
game
part of the tool
get
that you
service.
want to do the
It's
damage.
getting the service replicated
So,
storage. Replicated
I
storage.
can make it
Now
this part, for example.
at the
I
end
can make
of the
this
parentheses,
like this part. It's like
you have
this.
colon, find for child,
I want this part
sword swing,
and you can
to
set
do the
this.
damage.
If you delete this again,
So I want
check
this part
this.
to
You
do
see
the
that.
damage.
If
The
I want this
sword
part to
swing,
do damage, I can name it
shows
thing
that it's a remote
because
event.
there's a bunch
Just
of
make
parts
sure
in
it's a remote
workspace.
event. So if you just say part, it could be talking
Then
about
whenever
another
this is
part. So
whenever
I
this
could say
happens,
remote
sword
event
colon
damage,
fire server
sword damage part.
So what this does is it fires the
So,
server of the
local-
game.
I'm gonna call
Fires
it
the game
blade
server, and the
blade
animation track plays. It fires the
equals
server. So
game
when you go to your
dot
script,
workspace dot sword damage
you have to reference your remote event.
part. Local remote event
Sword.
equals game equals
Oh
game
my goodness, what
or
am I
get
doing?
service paid storage,
It's actually a
which
script
is
out
this
there.
thing that your remote event
Should be
dot
under. You have to
sword
make sure it's
damage.
under replicated storage.
I'm sorry,
Find
guys.
for
I was
child.
looking in the
Sword
workspace.
swing.
The thing is that the damage part is under
And
the
then
tool.
you
It's not
have
in the workspace.
so
This.
there's
Now you
one
have
thing
that.
about this. You
And
can't
you also
reference the
but to
tool.
make sure you have
can reference the
local
tool, but
can
what you're
damage
supposed to do is that you want to
equals
reference. You have to
false.
want to make sure that you reference
And you'll know why you need this
part of the
link.
tool that you
And
want to do the damage. That should be it.
So now you
I
have
can make
remote
it this
event
part, for example.
dot on
I
server
can make
event
this like this
connect
part. It's like this.
function, and you're gonna need a parameter.
I want this part
Parameter is player.
to do the damage. So you go here.
So I want this
now
part
you
to
have
do
your
the damage.
event. If I want this part to do damage, I can
And
name
then
it a thing.
can damage.
Because there's a bunch of parts in workspace.
Can damage. So if you just say
sorry.
part, it could be
I
talking
hit
about
something
another
else.
part. So
Can
I could
damage
say
equals
sword
true.
damage.
True.
Sword damage. And
Part.
wait and like task fast
So,
dot wait whatever time you
local
want. I'm gonna call
even
it
if you want
blade.
5
You-
seconds,
blade
you can do whatever time
equals
you want. What
game
this is doing
dot
is just
workspace
saying
dot sword
the
damage
interval of time
part.
that your
Sword.
sword can actually do damage. Whenever
Oh my
the
goodness, what am I
person
doing?
like swings a sword, whenever the
There's
animation
actually a
plays.
script down here.
Whenever the animation is played, it
Dot
turns on the
sword
can damage
because
because
sorry,
it fires
guys,
the
I was
server
looking
whenever
at
the animation is
workspace.
played. So whenever the
thing is
server is
that
fired,
the
it just
damage
turns on the
part is
can
in the
damage,
tool. It's
and
not
you
in the
wait
workspace.
how long you
So,
want the sword
now you
to
have
do
that.
damage while
And you
the
also
sword
have
is swinging.
but to make
So,
sure you have
you wait
local
how long
can damage
you want the sword to do damage
equals. So I'll just say
false.
0.5 seconds.
like half a second.
And
That's
you'll know why you
because it
need
gives
this
you enough time
link.
to actually do
And
damage with the sword.
That
That damage
should
equals
be it.
false. So it just
Now
set that
you
back
have
to
remote
false.
event dot
And
on
then now,
server
if
event
I'm done,
connect
so
function,
blade
and
dot
you're gonna need a
touch.
parameter.
We use a dot
Parameter
touch
is
event.
player. Connect function.
So you go here,
Hit.
now you have your event.
So now we reference the
then
character. Can damage.
Local
Can
character.
damage
Oh, sorry. I hit
equals
something else.
hit dot
Can damage
parent
equals
sorry, I
true.
did high.
Hit dot true.
Parent. And wait and like task
And
fast dot wait whatever time you want. And also
even
for
if you want
that, you
5
also want to
seconds,
make sure that
you can do whatever time
if
you want. What this is doing is
not
just saying
can damage
the interval of time
then
that your
return
sword can actually do
and
damage.
if not can
Whenever the
damage
person like swings a
turn
sword,
or
whenever
if
the
can
animation is
damage
played. Just
whenever
let's
the
say
animation
if
is
can
played,
damage, it turns
equals
on
to
the can
equals to
damage
false
because it fires the server
False.
whenever the
then
animation is
return
played.
A.
So whenever the
So
server
what
is
this
fired,
means
it just turns
it's
on the
just
can
saying
damage.
if this
And
thing
you wait how long
can
you
damage,
want the sword
this
turns
to
can
do
damage
damage
while
if it's
the
false,
sword is
which
swinging.
means you're
So
not swinging the sword,
you wait how
then
long
it just ends
you
the
want the
script
sword to do damage
because
you
so
don't
I'll
want
just say
it to do
0.5
damage
seconds,
while you're
like
not
half a
swinging the
second.
sword.
That's fine because
So,
it gives you enough time to actually do
local
damage with the sword. Humanoid
can damage equals false.
humanoid
So just set that back to false.
equals character
And then
colon,
now,
find for
if I'm down
child
here.
humanoid.
So blade dot touch. We use a dot touch to
Alright,
that. So
connect
if
function
humanoid
hit
then So now we reference the character.
Local
Humanoid
character
take damage
equals
which is
hit dot
function
parent.
take damage.
Whatever
Sorry,
damage you
I
want
did
is
hit
just say
dot
10.
parent.
So this is what the script looks like.
And
This is what the server script looks like.
and also
Now,
before you do that,
whenever
you also want to make sure
it should
that
do damage.
if
So let's see.
not can damage, then
Let's see right
return
now. But now,
end. If not can damage, return
whatever.
end. Or if can damage, just let's say if can damage equals to false, false, then return end. So what this means is just saying if this thing can damage, this turns can damage to true. If it's false, which means you're not swinging the sword, then it just ends the script because you don't want it to do damage while you're not even swinging the sword. So local humanoid
I can make some more videos.
equals character colon find for child humanoid. Okay.
I can show you how to
Alright,
make this
so
system.
if humanoid, then humanoid, humanoid colon take damage, which is
I almost forgot
function,
something.
take damage,
Local
whatever
debuffs
damage you want is 10.
Just say 10.
Equals false.
So this is what the script looks like.
Yeah, I almost forgot something.
This is what the server script
And
looks like. And
if
if whenever you
not
click,
debuff,
it should do
then
damage.
return
So let's
end.
see.
Okay, so basically, then
But now,
if humanoid and not if humanoid and debounce equals to false, we could just take this out. If humanoid and debounce equals to false, then humanoid take damage, debounce equals true. Wait, like for example, you can wait if you only want the sword to do, for example, like the 10 damage, only one swing. Then like you have wait until the swing is over. So let's say like 0.78. That just gave you a lot of time. Debounce equals false. So what this should do, hopefully what it should do is that basically whenever you hit the person,
I almost
the
forgot
debounce
something.
value should be
Local
false.
debounce
Whenever you hit the person, it
equals
checks if the debounce
false.
value is false. And if it is, then
Yeah,
it would
I
make the
almost
person
forgot
take damage.
But it would
And
wait the time so that you could only take damage
not
once.
debounce,
Like this.
then return end. Like that. Only take damage once. Okay, so basically, then
But I put it a little bit too high.
if you know,
you could
and
just do something
not-
like
if humanoid and
0.6
debounce equals
for example.
to false,
Change this to 0.4.
you could just take
And like
this
0.4
out.
0.4
If humanoid and
0.41.
debounce equals
Because what
to
it does,
false,
it does it right after
then
the weight is ended. So
humanoid take damage.
if you can change it back to
Debounce
5,
equals
whatever time you want.
true.
You just have to have the
Wait,
debounce
like,
waiting time. It's just
for example,
just 1, literally
you
0.1
can wait if you
or
only
1
want
after
the sword to
the
do,
after
for
the
example,
10
like
damage
the 10
is false.
damage,
So
only one swing.
then that
Then
means
like you
there's
have
like a
wait
debounce.
until
It's just a
the
debounce
swing
value.
is over. So let's say like
Pick up the
0.7.
sword.
That just
You
gave
don't
you a
do
lot
any
of time.
damage now, but now you do damage.
Debounce equals false.
So what this
And
should do,
hopefully it should. What it should
impale
do
the
is
humanoid.
that
And this is how
basically
the
whenever you
sword
hit the person, the
Alright
debounce
guys,
value
now
should
this
be
is
false.
the actual
Whenever you hit
end.
the person,
I just really wanted
it checks if the
to
debounce value is
reference
false.
just to talk about
And if it
debounce
is,
because
then it would make the person
basically
take damage.
if not,
But
then
it would
you would have
wait
just
the
done
time
like
so
a
that you
bunch
could
of
only
damage
take damage
and don't want to do like
once,
a million
like
damage
this.
and stuff like that. You can also add
Like
debounce to your
Only
local
take
script
damage
if you
once.
want to. So to make it so that you can't like keep spamming.
The
But I put it a
spamming the
little
attack
bit too
animation.
high, so
So,
it
but
could
the
just do
debounce
something
prevents
like
that. So it looks like you are spamming the
for
the
example, change this
animation,
to 0.4.
but the damage only comes
and
after
like
the animation is supposed to stop.
0.4
So after the animation is
0.41.
supposed to start.
Because
So
what it does is just it does it right
basically,
after
this is the video
weight
on
is
how to
out.
make a working
So
sword in Roblox.
if you can change it
And
back
now,
to
guys,
5,
I will
whatever
see
time you
you
want,
later.
you just have to have the debounce waiting time is just 1, literally 0.1 or 1 after the can damage goes false. So then that means there's like a debounce. It's just a debounce value. Pick up the sword. You don't do any damage now, but now you do damage. And you killed the humanoid. And this is how the working sword works. Alright guys, now this is the actual end. I just really wanted to reference just to talk about debounce because basically if not, then you would have just done like a bunch of damage and you don't want to do like a million damage and stuff like that. You can also add debounce to your local script if you want to. So to make it so that you can't like keep spamming the attack animation. So, but the debounce prevents that. So it looks like you are spamming the animation, but the damage only comes after the animation is supposed to stop. So after the animation is supposed to start. So basically, this is the video on how to make a working sword in Roblox Studio. And now, guys, I will see you later.